Actually, Carl, on line one, I wanted to talk about this. I got wind of this over the weekend.
What's going on?
Hi, Carl. What's up?
Yeah, I'm a fat, bloated attorney, but now I'm nothing more than a shriveled up, penniless, skinny piece of shit.
Wow.
All right. Right on the money. An invitation.
I read the article. The first thing I thought about was Anthony. I said, oh, good. This fat fuck, now he's got no money. I'm addicted to Vicodin. So I thought you'd get a little kick out of that.
Yeah, he's trying to get sympathy, I think. Good luck.
I'm going to guess it's Dominic Barbara. Yeah, okay.
Dominic Barbara.
Good.
The attorney who represented my wife. He apparently is broke, lost his houses, and is now staying with friends. And occasionally he was, I guess, in the Garden City Hotel for a little while through friends and former clients that gave him a little bit of money to stay there. But now he's staying with a
people
friend.
Former clients that are probably living off other people's fucking earnings.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well take some. I didn't earn this either.
Yep. He's been suspended as far as his law practice goes. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And they're looking into even more charges against him for misappropriation of funds. And
good.
I guess he's got a contempt charge against him also. He didn't pay attention to a restraining order against one of his wives. He contacted her, so they're looking into that. He had this big house out on eastern Long Island, right by the water, and it's in foreclosure, and they have pictures of it. It's just a mess. All of his shit's everywhere. There's like a coffee cup on the table with a B on it, Barbara, and like all this shit there. This big...
The B is for bum.
For bum. You are a bum. Oh, you got...
You want to hear him talking about himself in the third person?
Please. Before you play it, let me say, from what I've gotten from the article... This guy wants it to sound like, he found himself. He's apparently born again. And he realizes how stupid he was. But in the same article, the guy talks about how he popped in a video of when he was on TV and looked at it like longingly and kind of, he's still a self-centered schmuck.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be famous.
Yeah. I barely played this. I just previewed it just to make sure like it was the right clip,
Yeah.
And he spoke for... I don't know, 4 seconds, and I was already like, this guy's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. It says, Dominic Barbara, from brash to broke, sees comeback.
Yeah,
I'm really looking just to be happy, to be able to enjoy. Dominic never really was happy. He had 5 homes. But if you ever sat down to him and said, are you happy? He'd say no. I was obese. I was so fat that I wore 62 size pants.
Turn your mic off.
I wear 37, and I'm having surgery soon. So I would have lost.
Can you rewind that? I just laughed over it. By the way, folks, that's not E-Rock. That's Dominic.
Dominic, still chatting.
It's hilarious.
So I would have lost total 160 pounds. I invented something with a doctor, which is a supplement called Fat No More. I'm doing this to help people because I know how miserable I was at 235 pounds.
He's so full of shit.
The, addiction to food, spending, from wanting to kill myself. I want to have a new life. I know how good I feel when I walk and how I feel about myself, and I want to give this to people. I want to give it to them.
Unfortunately, it's not AIDS.
Yeah, it's hard not to hate him because he's a divorce lawyer, and those guys just are typically scummy.
This guy got what is called a comeuppance.
Yeah,
he was what a prick.
Yeah,
this guy was so condescending to everybody, in love with himself, with fame, and just would do anything to hold on to it, and not an honorable man.
Do you give yourself like a quick yes, like every time there's something in the paper?
Oh, yes.
Like just watching that video, you just something that just snaps in the back of your head.
Yep. Yeah. I saw the pictures of his house, and I was like, I just want to buy it.
Dude.
I just want to buy it from the bank and just fucking.
How much is it?
Burn it down. I don't even know. It's in foreclosure.
You want to buy it and then just use every room as an open air toilet. He spent $4 million on a house, and he's just been for the last 3 years piling up duty on the floor in every room.
He'll use it like a east side of Detroit's house where they just ditch bodies there.
Yeah, you just have a big sign on the expressway bathroom, and let everybody take dumps on the floor and tinkle.
Fucking terrible. Yeah, it's Shelter Island, is it? Yeah.
Can you, like, somebody who makes their living busting people's balls and making sure that everything is in order, and if it's not, they try to take everything, to not be double-checking yourself.
Did he lose in a divorce? What happened to him?
Well, a lot of his money went into his own divorces.
How many marriages?
I think 4.
What an idiot.
Something like 4 fucking marriages. But also, I guess he just blew through a lot of fucking money. He said he was driving Bentleys and parking them illegally because I just thought I could. I was that kind of guy.
He is a real fool.
He makes a living making sure that people kind of live up to the consequences of their actions or whatever, and like every single consequence you could possibly imagine. And he's like, he is unaware that he's a person too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what? He was on Stern's show for forever.
Does he still go on or no?
He actually said he's going to try selling this Fat No More, which, by the way, I thought he had a fucking lap band put in and didn't lose the weight with fucking drugs, but
did he?
Hey, wow, that's what I heard.
Oh,
and then he's talking about how he's going to sell this fucking amphetamine, and that his friend Howard's going to let him promote it on his show. Really? Didn't we have a problem when comedians wanted to talk about their gigs on the show at one point without them, getting paid for it? Dominic's just going to come in and start doing commercials for his Fat No More product.
It's a different universe.
Yeah, it certainly is.
He still thinks he's not on the same level as people.
Yes,
like
that's why he's all full of shit when he says, I hit bottom and I realize now what an ass I was.
You like when he said Dominic was never happy?
Anybody that talks about themselves.
Jim hates that.
Jimmy really likes you. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, when Jim does it, it's actually one of his other personalities talking,
yeah,
so it's
exactly.
valid.
Chippa.
Jerry doesn't like that.
Jerry who?
I don't want to say it.
Right.
So, yeah, he really is a tool, this guy.
Yeah, and it's so hard not to revel in someone's misfortune when they've been such an insufferable prick.
But do you try? Do you actually try not to revel in it?
You know what the answer would be? No, I don't even try.
Right, so that's why it's difficult, because you enjoy it.
But dude, I'm reveling in it, and it's just for you. Like, he didn't do anything to me, and I'm happy to see him suffer because he was fucking shitty to you.
As person A looking at person B going through shit, there's a part of you that doesn't want to revel in it because there but for the grace of God go I, as they say.
Sure.
But as Anthony Cumia looking at Dominic Barbara, I can't help but just hope it gets so much worse for him because he's fucking.
It's like I like to see him, in his little failures like this because of what happened with you guys. But at the same time, it's more so like not the divorce, but that the fact that he came up to you afterwards and tried to be nice.
Oh yeah,
and like that was the part that bugged me more so than like if he's representing your ex-wife or whatever, that's just he's doing his job or whatever. But to come up after the fact, but Anthony, that was like holy fuck, what an asshole.
To me, it transcended just strictly business. The guy took pleasure in taunting the people that he was up against. And with me, it was every time I was in the court building, he would show up and just be like, Anthony, hey, how are you? Hey, like it was, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I remember there was some.
This isn't fucking.
There was some running in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City too. I was eating at one of the restaurants there or some shit, and he was walking by and he goes, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" I was just like, Dominic, I'm eating. Could you fucking?
I just don't understand how he expects your response to be pleasant. Like
he's like, oh, what's the matter? What's the matter? Or lots of money.
Is he such a, or as our divorce attorneys just such vultures that to them it's nothing personal? Like, to them, is it like almost like the way radio guys look at a market? Like, hey, you were on in the afternoons in Philly, now we're in the afternoon and you're in the morning. Like, it's not personal.
Yeah,
that's how I think lawyers can be such fucking vultures, because they can look at it like that. Psychotic.
For them to not know that the layman cannot stand you is a little, a little out there. But it was a tactic of his.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, he knew it was just an awful fucking, like, fuck you thing to do. In the court, he'd always be like, yeah, do an impression of me. Go ahead. And then he'd turn to other people. Listen to this. I'd be
Would
like,
you do it?
No. I'd be like, I'm not a performing seal here for you, Dominic.
Yeah. Well, he's
Get to the fucking point.
I mean, he's sociopathic. Any lawyer, if you're a lawyer, and a lot of lawyers are like that, but any lawyer who doesn't think that their actions have consequences, because you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Of course, you know consequences of actions.
Exactly. I mean, he knew the case as good as anyone, as far as my wife, what she did or didn't have to do with my career, and instead of, and I know it's his job to do that. I'm not that stupid. I know it's his job, but then don't turn around like you're just doing your job to me. Yeah, I know you knew that she didn't have anything to do with where I ended up in radio, yet you preach the fact that she should be a partner in this, and and I was just like, you're a fucking prick. You're lying about the impact she had on my career, and it's costing me a lot of fucking money. And he made a lot of money from it.
They have the ability, and it's like they are just doing their jobs, but this is why they're hateable lawyers. Because they have the ability to turn off or to ignore that part of them where they know something is garbage or dishonest.
Right.
And it's like, much more serious case. You look at prosecutors and how when they deep down know in their guts, wow, this was a bad conviction, they still fight it
when they
don't want to lose
evidence.
the conviction.
When they want to block evidence that's obvious and it will exonerate somebody, and they don't, and they try their best to keep it out. Why would you do that? Isn't the job supposed to be to find the truth? I know that's kind of silly, but yeah, to then fight to keep that out, it's a scumbaggy thing to do.
There was a guy who's, this is off the subject, but it's kind of about going to jail. Did you read the one? This guy turned himself in he licked the vagina of a 4-month-old baby, like he was watching porn.
Jesus.
I got Twittered this. He was like 25, this guy, and he turned himself in like Kansas City, I think it was, and he got life in prison.
Wow.
Which I thought that was kind of harsh because he turned himself in.
Why did he turn himself in?
I don't know. Because he's dumb. But no, I
knew that was coming.
That's not to do with lawyers, really. But this guy turned himself in, and it's not like he fucked the kid, which I don't mean to differentiate between, but I mean,
he was watching porno and
what motivates you to do that?
Something?
I don't know. There's something deep and psychological.
Oh,
but isn't that kind of a deterrent from other people? Maybe not, because if you confess murder, you go to jail for murder.
Well,
you know what?
That's true.
If you confess rape, you go to jail for rape.
Yeah.
That's true.
What a dunce.
What a ghoul.
Wow, that is bad. Yeah, it's just lawyers and people, especially like Dominic, I had first-hand contact with like that.
Yeah.
And he was always more interested in what he was doing outside of the law firm. He'd be talking to the judge and other attorneys about his TV show that he had going on and his appearances on radio and all that shit. And meanwhile, my fucking life is hanging in the balance as far as, finances going.
He's sitting in a courtroom with zero empathy for you, to the point where he's taking your money and then asking you to do impressions.
Yes.
And then now he's putting out videos where it's like, don't you people care whether or not I'm happy?
Yeah.
You're gonna sit there and be like, oh, I hope Dominic is feeling happy.
How insane is that?
Just a narcissist. That's all. Just a typical fucking narcissist.
He honestly thinks people will watch that and go like, "Aw,
he wasn't happy. I'm sorry to hear that."
Oh man, he really needs to be happy. He's done so much for people.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, he's suffering.
Yes, he's suffering.
You think he'd have ironclad fucking prenups?
Oh no, he's constantly,
and he's about to get married again.
Yeah.
Really?
He's got another fiance.
What a dummy!
who
and talk about somebody who doesn't understand consequences, right? You're going to get married for the 4th time. What's wrong with you?
Keeps repeating the same mistake over and over again. I remember I'm pretty sure it was his last wife, if it wasn't the one before that, but his last wife was his law firm, like worked at his law firm, whether she was a partner or not. But I remember when she used to come wheeling in with the little fucking hand truck full of those lawyer cardboard file boxes stacked up, and it was my fucking case. And they'd come wheeling in, and every box I'm looking at, I'm thinking, how much fucking money that shit cost me?
Yeah.
Because, like, that, I was paying for all that shit. All that shit. Here, could you fuck me, and I'll buy the dildo? That's pretty much what the fuck it was. How do you justify that?
And I'll pay for a fresh one each time.
Yeah.
I'll bet you half of those boxes have nonsense in them.
I think they're like,
and I'll bet you it's an intimidation thing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when
profilers
want to catch a serial killer, they line up evidence in the room when they sit him down. They have such a mountain of images and stuff that it just overwhelms them. And I bet you that's what that is.
My sister used to have to do some shit at work. She was in retail and stuff, and she would bust the people for stealing on the job and have to confront them. And she would have a folder with papers in it. And she'd sit them down and talk and put the folder on the table. And when she talked about what they did and how they got caught, she would tap on the folder like the info's right here, without saying the info's right here. But the people would look at the folder and think, there's a mountain of evidence against me. They must have been.
What evidence could there be if it just happened?
No, it was like the cases that would build up. Not just like I caught you shoplifting. It was like loss prevention where they'd have cameras and they'd have receipts and evidence, and then finally confront the person after they put a little case together. But
they would actually have a case together, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but sometimes they wouldn't have that evidence they would need, or that much evidence. They knew something was amiss, but then Dawn would just go in there with the dumb folder, her empty folder, and of course I would goof on her about the empty folder. Call it stupid, but I guess she caught people with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, those boxes probably were fucking empty, half of them, intimidate. And then my lawyer, what a prize he was. He'd come in with, like I used to come into fucking history class. You got a pencil and paper?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Oh, my discount lawyer. Oh, God.
You have to rip him out of page. The spiral notebook things are still on the side of it because you ripped him out of page from your notebook.
What is this?
Which was Dominic an hour? Back in 2000 or whatever it was.
It was him, his fucking paralegals would make a certain amount, his assistants would make a certain amount. It was terrible. Oh, look at.
Did you pay more than $40,000 for her lawyer? Do you think total? Oh, really? Oh no!
More importantly, who was more expensive? Her lawyer that you paid for, or your personal attorney?
I paid so much more to have her lawyer fuck me than I paid to stop being fucked. Yes.
That was a terrible investment.
Yeah, it was.
That was the wrong way to use money.
Why'd you get her a good lawyer, Aunt? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. I don't understand how that works.
You definitely should have traded lawyers at some point if you're paying for both of them.
I immediately, the second this thing was even conceived of, the first thing they did in court was decide how much I had to give her every month. How much I just had to give her. And that was a figure, a dollar amount, which was a lot. And above and beyond that, I still had to pay for her lawyer. Like, shouldn't it come out, now she's making, that's her income. She should have to spend that on
her lawyer.
But now I got to pay also the lawyer. It doesn't make sense at all.
How could you have fought that? I mean, it would have cost you more to fight it, though.
Of course, I could have fought it until it went to trial and everything. It went so long, and it was taking up so much of my time, energy, sanity, health, and money that I just decided I have to stop this and settle out.
How happy were you that you had faked orgasms and not had any kids?
Oh!
Genius.
I loved it that I never had that child she wanted so badly.
You would have owed a lot more money and everything the kid needed.
I'd still be like with her at some point.
When did she want the kid? Like what year?
Early 90s.
So that kid would be 20?
Oh, shit.
You'd see her at all the events, though. Like everything that was the graduations, the fucking wedding someday.
Oh, I would have to fucking actually have an interaction.
You'd be talking to your kid, and he'd be like, oh, Mom was saying that.
Yeah, Dad, could you help Mom out? Or,
Yeah.
No.
Would you have it like every other weekend? Like, that's going to affect compound parties and stuff.
I would have to do that.
You'd be like, how come mom is so mad at you for blah, blah, blah? And you'd be still dealing with it.
Yeah, see, look, I said, Fishman's right. The kid would be at my fucking house all the time.
Yeah.
I want to go to this Donnie Darko universe and check this out. It would be fun.
That would have been like, oh, that would stink.
Yeah, hey, Dad, hey, Ma, how come Dad always refers to you as the cunt when he was 8? Mama, what's a cunt?
Oh, yeah. I could hear the stories like, oh, yeah, Dad, yeah. I'd be like, oh, so how's your mother doing? Yeah. She came in last night. It was pretty loud. Kind of bumping into things.
Do you ever think that if you didn't get divorced and this radio thing didn't happen, you would just be the parents from Natural Born Killers?
Yeah.
And I'm going to come up there later to see how clean you are.
Oh, Rodney. That was a great Rodney role.
That was amazing.
Go upstairs and get clean for Daddy.
It was so creepy.
Oh, that was really bad.
Great.
I don't know what I'd be doing. It would suck, though. It would have sucked to have to still have any contact with that woman whatsoever. I've just heard little inklings in the past fucking forever that let me know, like, kind of what she's doing at a moment's notice. Last thing I heard was someone said, yeah, I saw her coming out of a bar and hopping on the back of some biker's bike and speeding off. I'm like, great, that's all.
Did you immediately put your fingers in your ears and start going la 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 la
la la la? No,
were you jealous?
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yeah, what are you doing, huh?
My aunt went home and beat off to it like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I beat off to the idea of the bike getting hit by a tractor trailer.
Just awfulness.
I can't believe though that you had to pay that much money, and there weren't even any kids.
No kids, no house.
There wasn't
no, there was no property. There was nothing but Dominic Barbara saying that I had future potential earnings of millions upon millions of dollars.
It's a terrible scenario to receive a nice compliment.
Yeah. It was so bad sitting there and hearing him just going off about what she did and how she nurtured my career.
Just how but she could take that money and not have to pay you back that 40 grand or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
How do people get away with that? You're right. It's all it's a system. It's A and B and C, and there's no. You thought it was going to be all like arguing real points, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
May the best man
delusion.
win.
The delusions you have because of television of what it's supposed to be. Like, oh, they argue about it, and I'm like, I know this. It's great. The divorce proceedings started before I signed a big contract. I was making okay money at WNEW, but nowhere near with the next contract I had signed. So she wasn't even with me during the time I signed that contract. But they pushed this future potential earnings shit at me, and how that is an equity. Just as property is and everything else. That's a thing. That's a marital asset that they can split up. The idea that perhaps, it's like, and in radio, stop it. It could be over in a second by saying fucking, go have sex in a church.
But why do they say that potential earnings is guaranteed earnings?
Exactly. That was my lawyer's argument. If maybe he brought the paper with him that said it on it.
You should have sabotaged your career just to spite her.
Well, Aunt, you did get called out on cheating and went to a private room to settle. Well, that did kind of happen. My first fucking 5 minutes on the stand during the beginning of the whole thing, I was just like, all right, this is it. I've had it. Settle. Let's
really?
talk.
Like, even though, in that situation, the fact that she was involved with it for a while.
I know.
I think that would bode well for you.
The worst part, though, was the fact that the postponements. And Dominic, what he would do is we'd set a court date. I'd have to, drop everything to be there. And I'd go there, and then he'd walk up and postpone it for another 3 months. And then I'd be like, I thought today was going to be like, we're going to start and things are going to get going, and just wore me down.
That's why they do it.
It went years. And then my dumb lawyer trying to go to the judge and just say, look, what the fuck are you doing? Let's get this shit moving. Oh, well, things happen. And they just, most of it wasn't even arguing the case. or the marriage or anything. It was just arguing, like, when we would come back, under what circumstances, who had to be there. It had nothing to do with the actual meat of the whole thing. And years were going by, and I was just spending so much money for her lawyer, my lawyer, all this bullshit, that I finally, when I hit the stand and he was like, what's the date of your anniversary? And I was like, I don't know. It was March 19th. And it was like, it was May 19th. It's like, March was Swallows Day in Capistrano. That was a much more important day than my fucking marriage. So, and then he started bringing up other things. And I see the New York Post and Daily News are in the little gallery and they're jotting stuff down. I'm just like, I've had it. So I took her into one of the fucking chat rooms there and told her, I want to settle this. Be realistic.
But then you had a terrible lawyer, so it's like...
Exactly. So the settlement was even a fucking disaster.
Whatever they want.
How long after that did you settle? When you brought her into that room, how long did it take?
Another fucking couple of months.
Oh, really?
To settle it?
Terrible, yes, because they just kept trying to get more. Do you know what my lawyer's big win was for me?
What?
That if I died, I still didn't have to pay her. They wanted that. They wanted it in a settlement that said if I died, my estate would still have to pay her out.
So your lawyer goes to you, don't worry, though. If you die...
I'm on this. Don't
good.
worry. Yeah, you're good. You're
I'm
good.
on this.
You're good.
You're right, though, about the movies and everything. Because I assumed that literally you leave the courtroom and you go into the room to settle, and then that's the last day. You're done. No. That day you settle.
Nope. They go, we're going to settle, and then there's some kind of agreement to settle, and then you go through all the shit. That what do you want as far as the settlement goes? Because it's not just money. There's other shit as far as, and then there was like what you can talk about, what you can't talk about, what this, disparaging remarks, this, that, all kinds of horse shit.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, you're done with it.
Oh, am I done with it?
You're done with it, and they're both broke.
That's why.
How great is that, though? All you're doing is fucking living in a great house in a jacuzzi. There's always fucking broads in it.
I revel.
Fast forward. It's the end of October, and you're in a jacuzzi with chicks.
Oh.
And Dominic Barbara is on
at
Newsday.
The Garden City Hotel.
Explaining that he wasn't happy. Dominic wasn't happy.
No more fat pills or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
The ex is hopping on the back of some Hells Angels bike.
Yeah.
Oh, great. You're absolutely right. Okay.
You're just sitting there playing poker and banging chicks. And
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Fucking waving that big cock around in every room in the house.
Swinging that.
Is that what I do?
People tripping over it.
Yeah.
I love the perception of my house.
I remember one time I went into Aunt's house and I was like, why do you have that fucking 50 cal on the table? It's just this big cock laying there between the hors d'oeuvres. People didn't even notice it after a while.
I wish I remembered that.
Yeah, you were drinking.
Oh, well, that explains it.